at its core, I think this is a foot fetish ad. This is an ad for foot fetishists who also love Jesus, which is a narrow audience, but I think they got it pretty much down pat. Ah, the Super Bowl. The football game that everybody watches, even those who don't know how football works. Which, credit to those people who I definitely scared a little bit when I yelled when Taylor Swift's team scored a touchdown. But how do we celebrate this love fest of American sport? Why, with a similar love fest of American capitalism. The commercials in the Super Bowl are obviously incredibly famous, with some people saying they don't even bother to watch the game, they only watch for the commercials, which is a sad commentary on the world we live in. This year, a 30-second spot at the Super Bowl would run you back $7 million, and that's before any cost of making the ad itself. So, what were the most memorable ads? What were the least memorable ads? What were the plain old forgettable ads? And what were the downright offensive ads? As someone who has studied advertising, I have a vested interest in finding that out, so let's get into it. So I'm going to be ranking these based on a couple factors. One is how memorable they are. 2 is if they make sense. 3 is if it's clear of what they're selling. Just some basics I learned from Advertising 101. And we're going to go back and forth from a bad ad to a good ad, and vice versa. So starting with one of my least favorites, we have Pickle Babies by E-Trade.
So this is pickleball?
It's basically tennis for babies, but for adults.
It should be called wiffle tennis.
If there is one thing I really, really hate, it's the idea of, oh, they're babies, but they talk like adults. Isn't that so clever? It was clever in 1980, and it has been trite and boring and stupid ever since. And this concept has been done to death by people far more intelligent than whoever was behind this one. The studio execs at E-Trade were like, wouldn't this be so cool? And if there's one thing I hate even more than that, it's the sport of pickleball. If you play pickleball and you are under the age of 65, get the fuck off the court. The court is for people playing a real sport with tennis, where you actually have to, oh, I don't know, this is crazy for pickleball fans, do something called run, do something called physical activity. I know, pickleball, it's like standing in place. Oh, maybe I take a step to get a crazy shot in. I have no respect for pickleball. So you can imagine, when I see an advertisement focused on pickleball with these stupid adult talking babies, it really immediately rocketed to the top of my shit list, and that's where it belongs. E-Trade, you did a bad job. Then going back to a good ad, we're going to go with the Etsy Statue of Liberty ad. The basic premise is that, oh, America feels obligated to get a gift for France in return for the Statue of Liberty. They go to Etsy, get them a cheese board. Is this the best ad in the world? No. It's a perfectly serviceable ad. You see it, you maybe get a chuckle. Will it work on its target audiences of wine moms and me? Yes. Is it fun to make fun of French people? Also yes. Pretty decent ad, all things considered. Going back to another one of the worst ads, we have the Volkswagen ad. This ad, starting in black and white, features the trajectory of the history of the Volkswagen brand. Now, if there is one brand on God's green earth that should absolutely have not done an advertisement about their history, starting in black and white, it is Volkswagen. For those of you who are unfamiliar, Volkswagen was founded by Nazis. Adolf Hitler was a big fan of the Volkswagen. So this fun, cute little black and white footage of them making Volkswagen Beetles, that was the car of the Nazis. So this ad, naturally, amidst their ties with Adolf Hitler, which I think was for the best. But if you have even a cursory knowledge of history, which now, having watched this video, you do, you can realize that this was a stupid, uninformed ad that really distracts from the whole message they were trying to go for. And by the way, their new car is ugly as fuck. Going to one of the better ads, we have the Dunkin' ad. This ad was fine. I mean, I like Dunkin' Donuts. I like these Boston actors. The colors are nice. The outfits are cool. I like Dunkin' Donuts. I mean, this was a pretty weak year for ads, but this one is fine. It's fine. It's fine. Going back to one of the worst ads, we have the Javier in Frame ad for the Google Pixel. Now, this ad, it is promoting an accessibility feature featured in the new Google Pixel, which I appreciate. That is really going to help people who are visually impaired. But at the same time, and this is sort of a trap that a lot of these products will fall into when they're advertising this stuff, it feels like you're taking advantage of this man's disability to sell Google Pixels, which is not good. Everyone at the super party I was watching, who were grateful to hear me stop yelling at the TV and instead yelling at the advertisements, which is something we can all get behind instead of me viciously bullying Taylor Swift's football team, they felt that the ad was pretty exploitative, and I'm inclined to agree. And you can watch this advertisement without all of the sound in a crowded environment, which most Super Bowl parties will be, and think, oh, this is actually an ad for a miracle medical technology, and instead find out it is merely selling Google Pixels, the phone for people who want to lecture Apple users about how they're sheeps and conformists. So, not a good ad. Going back to one of the better ads, we have the NFL Abroad ad, featuring a very young child in the streets of Ghana playing football, and in characteristic form, a New Orleans Saints player could not bring the tackle down as he keeps running through the market. This is a nice ad. It's pretty cute. It kind of does, oh, look at everyone can play around the world football, which is what they want. American football is kind of a joke internationally because, Americans are mostly the only people who play it. So that's starting to change, and ads like this, they're not going to make it an overnight sensation, but they're nice. They're promoting, hey, the NFL is actively trying to recruit players in other countries internationally and bring them to the NFL, which I think is pretty cool. So, good ad. Good ad. And going back to one of the worst ads, we have the Pfizer ad. Ironically, in the Super Bowl won by Mr. Pfizer himself, the actual Pfizer ad was pretty bad. This ad features a lot of talking portraits of very old scientists talking about, oh, science is awesome, then, oh, Pfizer is awesome, which, that's their MO. But it kind of reminds me a lot of AI-generated things, like those AI videos of, Joseph Stalin, singing, I don't know if it was actually made with AI, but it really gave that vibe, which immediately turned me off from it. And, with all the money the taxpayers paid Pfizer to make those vaccines and then buy those vaccines from them, I would hope they could hire some people to give them a little bit of a better idea, starting from the creative process. But hey, not every ad can be a home run. This one was a ground out. And going back to one of the better ads, we have the Mayo Cat ad. Now, the general formula for a Super Bowl ad is add a celebrity, add a product, kind of, add a story, kind of, add a lot of nostalgia, ideally, mix them all together, and you have a sort of replacement level Super Bowl ad. Not great, but your C-suite executives will be watching that and they'll be like, that's my company, we put a lot of money to get that commercial on the air, so you do that at least. This advertisement kind of fits into that, but Kate McKinnon isn't super really a household name. The premise is like, oh, the cat says meow, everyone thinks it said mayo, and now it's a celebrity. I'm reaching here, guys, to find 5 advertisements that I would like to talk about and say positive things about. But it was cute. It should have been a 30-second spot, as some people have said. It's fine. It's fine. And moving on to the worst ad in the Super Bowl this year, in my opinion, is the Temu ad. This ad was crazy. It aired 4 or 5 times. I don't know. I left after the San Francisco 49ers kicked the field goal in overtime, and I realized Patrick Mahomes, with his devil Satan magic, was going to get a touchdown on that next drive because the San Francisco 49ers evidently just forgot how to play the game of football. So, that's unfortunate. But moving back to the Temu ad, it aired 4 or 5 times. That's $28 million if they aired it 4 times. And unlike their business model of selling a toaster for $10 and a wig for $1, abundance does not always equal quality. This ad is a shitty cartoon world where prices are on everything, ending with the tagline, shop like a billionaire. That tagline actually is really smart, in my opinion, and if anyone who had taken, a couple of advertising classes had been able to be like, listen, you got the tagline already, let's make an ad that's not a shitty, horrible cartoon world. But yes, I don't know where they got the $28 million for these Super Bowl ads if they're selling everything for $2, except wait, I do know it's from underpaying their employees. Ooh, bad luck, Temu. Alright, now moving on to the best ad, but also the worst ad because I had to see it. We'll get into it. This is the Jesus He Gets Us foot washing ad. This advertisement, listen, there's a lot of concepts and principles and theories and sciences behind the art of advertising. I know that those sentences don't make sense together, but actually they do when you kind of think about it. One of them, and probably in my opinion the single most important one, is being memorable. Now, that being said, you can be memorable for the wrong reasons. If you made an advertisement that was just insulting to everybody, people probably wouldn't want to buy your product. If you make an advertisement that's so weird, but everybody remembers it, did you do a good job? This ad is so weird, because at its core, I think this is a foot fetish ad. This is an ad for foot fetishists who also love Jesus, which is a narrow audience, but I think they got it pretty much down pat. If this ad comes on in your Super Bowl party when you're eating your chips and guac, you either immediately look away as fast as you can, or you are transfixed like you are watching a 50-car pileup and it's so horrifying you just can't look away. With subtle anti-abortion messaging, this ad was designed to get people talking about Jesus. And I guess it kind of worked. I mean, I'm talking about it right now. It certainly will be the most memorable ad that I've seen in the Super Bowl, which was otherwise fairly forgettable, but it also is not the ad that is going to make me go back to church. I didn't see this ad and was thinking like, wow, you know, Jesus, he gets us. He'll wash my feet. And I'm into that for some reason. But again, I think for the foot fetishists in America, this ad, that's going to get them right through the church doors, and they're going to be asking the pastor, hey, when do we get to the foot massage part of the service? That's going to do it for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the Super Bowl. I certainly didn't. Please leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Please comment if you agreed with me, disagree with me. What were your favorite ads? What were your least favorite ads? Questions, answers, amusement. As always, my name is Patrick, but my friends call me Pat, and hope to see you back for another video. A bientôt. Why am I doing the French thing? I don't know. Goodbye.